Hello there. Welcome back to the channel. Or welcome to the channel if you've never been here before. We're back with the second detailed summary of the laws of human nature. Okay, we just finna be here. We finna learn about the laws of human nature. We finna learn what humans are all about, how we act, how our psychology, what makes people do the things that they do, why people do the things that they do. Excuse me. And all of that stuff. I just had a protein shake, so I'm still recovering from that. And I also made myself some nice green tea, of course. But let's not waste any time, because this is a long video. This is 45 minutes. I don't want this to go longer than an hour. I don't want to be, we're just going to watch this together, right? This is what this is. Let's watch it. You and me, we're going to learn about more of the human laws. Of course, this is probably, I think, Robert Greene's newest book compared to his other ones. Before this, he's already dropped. I don't think he's dropped ever since then. I think this book came out like 2018. And he's obviously known for, the 48 laws, power, mastery, the 33 laws of whatever the fuck it was, the daily laws. He's written a couple books. And of course, I love my man's Robert Greene. I love what he does. I love his work. Absolutely. Self-knowledge is even more powerful where content like this exists, and so much for putting all of this together. Whew. Yeah, I mean, the nice visuals that Escaping Ordinary makes they're very nice. They're very good. They're very good, and they're very informative, and it's very nice to see like a nice visual of it for people who maybe, I mean, of course, everybody. It's not like anybody is a visual learner. There's no such thing as just a visual learner, and like you can't learn anything else. It's just when more of your senses are being catered to, when they're more activated. When you also have the visual, you have the sound, you can see it. Most definitely. You can see the images. You can paint a broader picture. And that's exactly what we're going to aim to do here. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene.
Okay.
Come with me on a visual journey down the rabbit hole of human nature.
Let's do it.
If you're a visual learner or you just don't have the spare 30 hours right now to get through this book, then you've come to the right video. We're going to go over things like which gender projection type you are, zeitgeist, aggression. We're going to go over things like which gender projection type you are, zeitgeist, aggression, cults, and a heap more. I got so much out of reading this book, and by the end of this summary, I hope it inspires you to grab a copy of the book for yourself so you can go even deeper and master these laws. Let's jump into it.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen if somebody masters those laws.
These primitive forces, there are 18 of them. I call these primitive forces human nature. And so they're actually governing your behavior, and they're governing other people's behavior.
How did he get to 18? This is something that I've always wanted to ask Robert Greene himself. So Robert Greene, if you're out there, I have to ask you these questions, okay? I want to know. Why is it that you came to that number, right? Like, you came to the number 48 in the 48 laws of power. And here, you said you've got 18 laws of human nature. Is this just like the number where you were like, okay, this is good enough to publish? Or is this like the point where you were like, I don't know if I can even get any further knowledge? Like, this is the limits of all the knowledge I can find. And this is the limits of what I've got. These are all of the laws of human nature that I can come up with. Just 18? Could there be more? Could there be less? Were you aiming for a number? Like, when I think of 48, I always thought he was aiming for 50, and that's what I think. I always thought he was aiming for 50, and he just couldn't get those last two, and like he was just like, "Fuck, I'm stuck at 48. I can't find two more laws of power. Like, this is it. I have to just drop it like this." That's probably what I would think would happen there, but I'd have to ask him myself.
You don't know who you are. You walk around in your world and you're kind of sleepwalking. You assume you have an identity, an opinion, an image of yourself that is actually somewhat false. There's something else going on inside you.
Yeah, a lot of self-deception and selfishness.
Law 10, the law of envy. Beware the fragile ego. Every time a friend succeeds, I die a little. Gore Vidal.
Damn, Vidal. Call out
Envy
a
is
little
the
bit.
trickiest and most elusive of all human emotions. To decode envy, you must become a master of human nature. You need to be able to distinguish passive envy from active envy before you can understand its nuances. We all suffer from envy from time to time as we unconsciously observe the people around us and feel that they may have more in life than ourselves. The need to
Hey man, comparison is the thief of joy. You know, if you could, have an out-of-body experience, if you lost everything that you've got right now, and you were somebody that's got maybe, let's say figuratively, 1/10 of what you've got right now, which may not seem like much to you, because it's, it's your world. It's just what you've gotten accustomed to. Of course, you're not gonna think much of it, but it's like, and you think, well, there could be more. Perhaps that's true. Perhaps you could have more. Perhaps you are worthy of maybe more. Well, that's worthiness. I probably shouldn't add that in there because that's a whole different thing. Nobody knows what worth and deserving. Who even knows? Those things don't even really exist. But like, if, like I said, if you could just escape and be a person that was just in a much shittier situation than you, and you were looking at yourself, maybe I should say that, not out of body. Let's say you could transform into somebody that was starving. They didn't have a roof over their head. They lived in a box in the side of the streets of New York, right? They were homeless. They begged people on the street for money. They see you walking by them. They wish they were in your position, man. They wish they could be you. And you say, okay, well, that's one perspective. Well, so is any perspective one perspective. You just have a bias towards your own, because of course it's the one that you're with. It's understandable. But it's like, it's just a perspective. It doesn't mean that it's the perspective. It's just a perspective, and it's the one that you know. But you could also have that experience of like being like, well, I understand that, well, from this person's perspective, maybe, just maybe, my situation ain't so bad. And that's valuable, to be able to see other people's perspective, because it's a valuable perspective. You're not going to say that's not valuable. It may not mean as much to you as your own perspective, but it's a perspective nonetheless. You're going to have to choose a perspective anyway. What if your perspective is flawed? Your perspective is very, very limited in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? I mean, Robert Greene will tell you that. So it's like, if you're going to choose one, why not be wary of exactly why you're just choosing that one, which is by default. But think about it a little bit. Be like, maybe I can go about my day seeing it this other way. It's not that it's a lie. It's not that it just be nice to believe. It's the truth. And it's something that has value. It's something that's worth thinking about. Like, yeah, a person out there really would love to have it my way. And that's something to be grateful for. That I actually don't have it that bad. And don't compare yourself. It's just not worth it, man. Thief of joy, come on, dog. You have it so much better than a lot of people. Right? Especially if you're out there watching this. Probably at home cooling. I mean, it's not like you're worry-free necessarily, but...
Compare may motivate some of us to excel. For some, however, there are more extreme forms of envy. If people are actively trying to sabotage your projects, your career, or your relationships, then you're dealing with a dangerous, envious person. Signs of envy. It is difficult to detect subtle signs of envy, but if you pay attention, you can detect them. Micro-expressions. It is the eyes that are most associated with envy. It's often the first impression that's the most accurate, so you should pay more attention to it. The envier will momentarily look at you with disdain and hostility. Sometimes the look is only noticeable by accident, but if you notice such looks in your first encounter with someone, and they happen more than once, a dangerous, envious person could be lurking into your life. The Schopenhauer method for eliciting envy. Tell suspected enviers some good news about yourself, a promotion, a new and exciting love interest. You will notice a very quick expression of disappointment. The tone of voice as they congratulate you will betray some tension and strain. Equally, tell them some misfortune of yours and notice the uncontrollable micro-expression of joy in your pain, what is commonly known as schadenfreude. Poisonous praise. Beware of people who give you
I wouldn't be able to know what a look
confusing
like
and
look,
paradoxical.
I wouldn't be able to tell the look of envy, I feel. To see it in somebody's eyes, now that's hard. But maybe that little schmilk right there, like they're going to do that little, like you're going to see that. I know Robert Greene talked about it. You're going to see it for maybe half a second, a millisecond. Maybe you're going to see a little bit of, right? I don't even know if you could tell that. You're going to be like, oh, that's horrible. Well, probably won't be like that, but like, you know what I mean?
Praise. They will find ways to praise you, but mix the praise with sarcasm and offhand remarks which are designed to make you feel uncomfortable and make you doubt your abilities. Backbiting. Gossip often serves as a cover for envy, a means of venting frustration through sharing malicious rumors and stories. If you happen to hear of a negative story spread about you, that should have enough impact to raise your awareness. A sign of active envy could be the fact that your friend feels the need to vent his or her underlying hostility to a third party rather than keep it to themselves. Push and pull. If people are envious of you, the people with the closest proximity who know all your secrets and weaknesses are often in the best position to act upon this envy. Enviers often use friendship and intimacy as the best way to wound the people they envy.
Such fuckers. I hope this doesn't happen to me, bro.
Envier types. Here are 5
I just don't see it happening with my friends, but how could you possibly see it happening?
common varieties of envious people, how they disguise themselves, and how they attack. The leveler.
Social media?
Levelers are always on the lookout for injustice and unfairness in the world. Despite their ability to put others down, they do not easily take a joke at their own expense. It is their goal to bring everyone down to their level of mediocrity. Levelers cannot identify or value excellence in anyone. Be aware of these people, especially in the workplace. Such individuals will try to make you feel guilty for being ambitious to try and cover up their own ambitions to succeed. Levelers are people who want to bring you down when they see you rise above them.
They do
The
exist.
self-entitled slacker. People today rightfully feel entitled to success and a good life, but they recognize that they will need to sacrifice their time and work hard. Self-entitled slackers believe that they are entitled to success and the finer things in life. These people are plagued by narcissism and insecure about their own abilities to get what they want. Keep an eye out for those who prefer to maintain their positions through charisma rather than by putting in the hard work to get things done. The status fiend. Humans are very sensitive to their rank and position within social groups. Status for some people, however, is more than a way to measure social position. It is the most important factor in determining how valuable they perceive themselves to be. Status fiends will ask you about your income, whether you own your home, and what type of neighborhood you live in.
My God, if I ever had somebody ask me for my income, I would fucking lose it, bro. I would lose it. Right then and there, bro, I would fucking burst out laughing, bro. I wish somebody came up to me and asked me for my income, bro. That'd be fucking hilarious. Oh, man, that's awesome. I really hope that happens someday. I can't wait for the first day that somebody comes up to me and unironically asks me for my income. I don't know.
It is common for such types to demonstrate their status in an opposite direction, portraying themselves to be monk-like, but in reality they secretly yearn for the luxury they cannot afford. When you're around this type of envier, try to hide or at least downplay anything that might trigger envy. The attacher. These types are attracted to the successful or powerful, not in admiration but out of envy. They will do anything they can to make themselves useful, but they lack their own purpose and they want to get some of that attention and success the high achiever is getting, without all the hard work. They hate the fact that this person is getting more than them. The insecure master.
Why does the brain do that? Why does the brain hate to use up its own resources? Using cognitive resources is the reason for a lot of shit, man. For the fact that these fuckers exist, is that they just don't want to do the hard work that it takes to actually get to that spot. So they're like, let's see if we can cheat and let's see how much we can get away with. So maybe we can feel some of this good stuff. We can get some of that good praise. Yeah, that good praise. But we don't want to do the work. Oh no. Oh no. So let's just see, maybe we can hack our way there. Maybe we can cheat our way there. Maybe we can, just take a shortcut. Maybe we can lie. Maybe we can pretend. Maybe we can become the attacher, right?
For some people, having a high position increases their insecurities.
Well, managers
They
are so
fear
insecure.
subordinates who may possess more talent than them with an envious gaze. They may fire people for strange reasons or discredit your outstanding projects. Keep an eye out for signs of insecurity or envy among those above you. Envy triggers. While certain personality types tend to be more prone to envy than others, you should be aware that certain situations can cause envy in just about anyone. Older people and people whose professions are fading tend to have a fragile ego and can easily feel envious of others.
Why? Because they're old? What? Like, fragile ego because they're old? So what, if I say, hey, grandma, they're gonna like fucking, they're gonna get really pissed? I mean, it is rude to say. You don't want to, that's like any rude insult to anybody. That's not, like, why do they have older people just by default have more sensitive egos? That's what? Huh?
Anyone.
What?
Older people and people whose professions are fading tend to have a fragile ego and can easily feel envious of others. When a woman achieves high levels of success, other women and men feel inadequate, leading to jealousy and animosity instead of appreciation. In order to deflect envy, it becomes even more important for successful women to play the humble card. The best way to deal with an envy attack is to control your emotions. As a result of social media, envy is more common today than ever before. We all have a low level of envy within us, which can be exacerbated by reading something or seeing something that makes us feel insecure. Beyond envy. Envy thrives in environments where people see each other every day.
Yeah, because social media is mythology. People are telling you a story of what their life is not like. It's not what their life is like. Anything that people post on social media, it's not what their life is like. Not at all. Smiling while we all know you depressed. Well, we don't all know. Some motherfuckers might actually believe that that's actually what your life is like. That you're living that great life. Hey, look at me. I'm going to post a picture of me getting in this plane. I'm going to post a picture of me eating this avocado toast, right? Look at me. I eat trendy foods. And I have free time to do so. And I obviously eat those, out in the park always. And look at this person. They just happen to have come by and just they caught me off guard. They just caught a picture of me while I was eating my avocado toast. Ah, man, how funny. Isn't it funny that they took a picture of me? I didn't even expect it. I got caught off guard. I was just here, living my life the way that you see it here on this picture of smiling and laughing and having an amazing time. And that's all that my life is, 24/7. That's all what it's about. And look at me getting into this plane. I get into this plane every day. Right? This is all that this is. I travel everywhere. I travel all the time. Every time. My life is great. And then motherfuckers go and they're like, well, see, I don't do that. Wouldn't that be a little fun, though? She does seem like she's having a lot of fun. She seems like she's got a lot of money. Getting into that plane. My life ain't like that. Why does my life have to be so sad and miserable? Why do I have to sitting here in this chair while I could be out there traveling, but instead I'm here watching the laws of human nature being summarized by B.C. Marx. My life, man. It's so sad. It's so sad. Okay, shut the fuck up.
Whether they are colleagues in a corporation, family members, neighbors, or peers in any type of group. Considering that our brains cannot stop comparing, we should redirect this mechanism into something constructive and creative. Human greatness is to be admired. Admiration is the opposite of envy. You should do. We acknowledge people's accomplishments, celebrate them without feeling insecure. Our species' potential is to be celebrated when we recognize someone's greatness. Gratitude is the best antidote to envy.
It's also the best antidote
Engage in downward comparisons.
To dissatisfaction.
We often compare ourselves with people above us and we become envious. Instead of always looking upwards, look downwards from time to time. Compare yourself to people who are lower than you socioeconomically, not in a superior manner.
No, this is gonna be kind of hard.
But in a way that gives you gratitude.
I only work a part-time job, man. I'm 18 years old. Like, I still live in my parents' house, man.
For the things that you do have in your life that so many others do not. Schadenfreude, the experience of gaining pleasure from another person's suffering, is closely related to envy. Instead, another person's suffering do not. Schadenfreude, the experience of gaining pleasure from another person's suffering, is closely related to envy. Instead, follow what Friedrich Nietzsche called Mitfreude, which means joying with. Instead of simply congratulating someone on their success, you should instead attempt to actively feel their joy. Try to feel what they must be feeling in their moment of success. Practicing Mitfreude increases your ability to feel this emotion in relation to your own experiences. Nice. Law 11, the law of grandiosity.
So we gotta live with Mitfreude and we gotta have gratitude and be able to feel happy for people. That's how you can get past envy. Feel happiness. It's like sincere, not just pretend. Sincere happiness, right? Genuine happiness. Be happy for people, right? Because especially like not just necessarily just any old Joe Schmo, but like say somebody like your friends. Like, are you that sad of a mother? Like, are you that fucking sad that your friends are gonna succeed and you're gonna sit there being sad? What kind of friend are you, right? Like, come on, dog.
Know your limits. The gods are merciless with those who fly too high on the wings of grandiosity, and they will make you pay the price. Throughout history, humans have had a deep need to consider themselves important. We get a little bit of success and we let it go straight to our heads. We feel superior to others. We amplify our successes and
why is that a thing? What is the meaning of importance? I don't get it. What does that do in an evolutionary standpoint? What is the point of wanting to feel so important? For some reason I can't see that. What is that biological mechanism of wanting to feel important? How does that help you survive? To feel important? And to, obviously you want to be loved. That's for the relationships. I can sort of see that connection there of, obviously you need relationships, you need people to survive because we still have that old software, that old mechanism from those hunter-gatherer ancestors that were around hundreds of thousands of years ago. They lived in knit cloth communities. We know this. Okay, we know this. All of a sudden I got a lisp. Okay, we know this. And, yeah. Like, but I just don't see the where's the grandiosity? How does that work? Science. Somebody tell me. Because I'm curious. I want to know.
And we take all the credit.
Minutes.
We downplay any role that luck or the contributions of others may have played in our success. As soon as the perception of our greatness and brilliance differs too much from reality, we become grandiose. Seek out signs of excessive grandiosity in others and in yourself. Grandiosity has become exponentially more prominent today as a result of the following factors. The number of people who receive pampering attention as a child is greater now than ever before. A growing number of people are showing little or no respect for authority or experts in general. And social media is amplifying grandiosity.
God damn, boy! Them motherfuckers have some small heads. Jesus Christ, look at that fucking scientist. My God, look at that leg to head ratio. I mean, that arm to head ratio. Look at the arm to hand. Look how tiny that man got. Tiny baby hands. He look like he been hitting the gym though. He got some wide biceps on him. He just missed out on head day and hand day.
We allow the attention of others to inflate our egos, and social media gives us almost limitless capabilities to expand our presence and to create the illusion that we can attract thousands or even millions of adoring followers to us.
The illusion that
more than anything, it is social media that spreads the grandiosity virus.
I feel that.
The grandiose leader. It is possible for people with high levels of grandiosity to attain positions of power if they also possess some talent and assertive energy. The grandiose leader distorts reality to fit their perceived greatness. Here are 6 common illusions grandiose leaders like to create. Greatness is my destiny. It is common for grandiose leaders to portray themselves as destined for greatness. The stories they tell about their childhood and youth demonstrate their uniqueness, as if fate had chosen them. I'm the common man or woman. Public figures must present themselves to the public as representatives of the average citizen. A grandiose leader's trick is to put emphasis on their cultural tastes and not the class that they were raised in.
You ever seen this happen with celebrities? Here's a picture. Oh my God! Breaking news: Leonardo DiCaprio has just been caught eating a fucking hot dog. He was glizzy gobbling in the streets of Los Angeles. Just caught. Look at him. Just caught there wearing a Yankees hat or a Dodgers baseball. I don't know any team. I don't watch baseball. He's wearing a Dodgers hat. Okay? I probably just pissed so many people off. I don't know where the Dodgers play. They might be the enemy of the actual team in Los Angeles. I don't fucking know. Yeah, he has a Dodgers hat. Somebody looking at that, sitting at home watching the news, they'd be like, I have a Dodgers hat. Man, ain't that something? Maybe this Leonardo DiCaprio guy is just like me. Which, of course he is. He's a fucking human. You just wouldn't see them that way because we put them on this pedestal. We talk about them all the time. Look at the fucking media. Talking about them like they're really that important, and just there's this essence and sense of feeling that they are just better than you. They are just on a different level. You're just a regular old Joe Schmo. Look at this guy. This guy's like a god compared to you. No. And you see, you're doing the absolute opposite by putting in that post there, right? By putting up that post about him eating a glizzy goblin on the streets of Los Angeles. Eating a glizzy. You're doing the opposite. Because you don't understand what you're inadvertently doing there by making that a headline. Because you're telling people subconsciously that is a noteworthy moment. That is a newsworthy event. That this man is doing something that everybody else does regularly. He's caught eating a burger. Caught in the drive-thru of McDonald's. It's like, why is that newsworthy to you, right? Because you just think that they're not like you, and you're surprised that they are just you. Like, fuck. Oh, people, man. People and celebrities. Why do we look at them like they're so different from us? I don't get it. I never saw that. I'm like, why? I don't care if Leonardo DiCaprio is getting McDonald's. I don't care. Good for him. Leave him alone. He's just like us, bro. He just so happens that he does a profession wherein he's in movies. And he's great at it too. He's a very talented man. Woohoo, great for him. Great for him, man. Leave him alone. Jesus.
I will be your savior. In times of crisis and trouble, these types rise to power. These individuals will be the ones to deliver the people from the difficulties they are experiencing.
Every president
They need
ever.
to make large yet vague promises to do this. Messages must be simple to understand yet stir the emotions. When followers become part of the cult, they are doubly mesmerized and ready to excuse any faults of the leader. I am able to rewrite
Every
the rules.
president ever.
Humans have a secret desire to do away with the conventions and rules in place in every field, and to be empowered just by following their intuitions. Secretly, we are excited and wish to believe grandiose leaders when they proclaim to have such powers.
Loki be me
Everything
sometimes.
I touch
low-key
turns
wanna
to
change the
gold.
rules sometimes.
In order to create the legend that they have never failed, those with grandiose tendencies will exaggerate their success. If they had setbacks or failures in their career, other people were always to blame. I'm invulnerable. The grandiose leader likes to take risks, but this boldness is often reckless and mismanaged. In essence, their decisions are influenced not by rational considerations, but by the need for fame and attention, and the reality eventually catches up with them. Practical grandiosity.
So this is good
Grandiosity is a form of primal energy we all possess. Here are 5 basic principles that are essential for redirecting this energy and attaining a high level of fulfillment. Be honest with yourself about your grandiose desires. You must be honest with yourself and admit that we all want to feel important and noticed by others. Only then can you channel your energy into something useful and productive. Focus your energy. Avoid scatterbrained thinking and moving from one idea to another. Don't try to solve too many problems at once and break your goals into smaller steps. Your goals should be attainable in a matter of months and not years. Keep in touch with reality. Let your imagination run free, but don't expect your ideas to be perfect. You'll be able to create something practical, powerful, and realistic by listening to criticism.
Why did
You'll be able to create
say do something for months, not years? Like there are people that you can work on projects that aren't going to be around by the time you like in your lifetime, man. A lot of people are doing that. So many projects are being built right now that aren't going to be finished in our lifetime. Are you kidding me? So what? It's still important. We still do them. It's still an important thing to be doing. Like, you know, you can think long term, but I guess I see what he's saying. I guess you know it's more convenient for somebody to focus, you know, more on doing it quick, I guess, because you're trying to focus your energy. So it's like let's dedicate our time to this one thing, and if you do, likelihood is it probably shouldn't be taking years, you know, because I mean if like you're dedicating your whole entire time and it's only taking. But what about you, Robert Greene? This book took you years to write, and what? But you weren't focusing your energy on writing this book.
Something practical, powerful, and realistic by listening to criticism and maintaining an ongoing dialogue between your imagination and reality, which is your feedback. Make sure to challenge yourself according to your abilities. Continuously be seeking challenges just above your current skill level Attempting projects below or at your ability level will make you easily bored and you will lose focus. Don't hold back your grandiose energy. Think of your energy as a wild animal that needs to roam free now and then, or it will go mad from restlessness. Try learning a new skill in a different field, or start that business that you once considered as unattainable or a distraction. Law 12, the law of gender rigidity. Reconnect to the masculine or feminine within you. Do not be afraid to bring out the more
A lot of motherfuckers are nowadays are just telling men, just go to the masculine. Just seek your masculine within you. Just do the masculine. Men, just be masculine. That seems to be the only narrative I'm hearing nowadays. Everybody just wants to, just calling for men to be masculine. Like it's gonna solve all your problems. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm here to break the news to you, bro. Yeah, it can be helpful in a lot of ways. It's not gonna solve all your problems. It's not like it's the answer. It's not like it's something that is, well, necessary. I'll let him say it. Robert Greene's gonna tell you, you don't need to hear it from me, okay? Let me just shut the fuck up.
Sensitive or ambitious sides to your character. These repressed parts of you are yearning to be let out. We all have a mixture of masculine and feminine qualities which are due to our genetics, but also the influence of the parent of the opposite sex. But in order to play the gender role expected of us by society, we tend to repress some of these qualities, and we lose important dimensions of our character. You need to look within yourself and discover those traits that are repressed and underdeveloped. Psychologist Carl Jung identifies these different dimensions of our character as the anima, which is the unconscious feminine part of a male, and the animus, the unconscious masculine part of a female. When we fall in love, we become victims of emotions that we cannot control. We make decisions about partners we cannot rationally explain, and our bad choices of partners are often repeated over time, as if we are driven by some demon deep within ourselves. It is common for relationships to fall apart due to miscommunications on both sides, and without knowing the reasons for the breakdown, we will go through the exact same process with the next person. Gender projection types. The variation of gender projections are...
Where does that complexity come from for anima and animus? Where did he find, like... Is he just saying that because he realizes all we do is just put labels on things and we're like, okay, this behavior mostly found in females. We find this behavior very typically in females. Is it necessarily a female trait though? Is it necessarily a female quality? And how much of it, like a lot of it isn't, it's just biological. A lot of it is just societal roles and culture. Like, people are like, oh, women are just, submissive and calm. If we swapped out those leaders, we swapped out Hitler for a woman. We swapped out every leader ever for a woman. Imagine where society would be today. Maybe there wouldn't have been as much wars. Maybe there wouldn't have been as much technological advancement, but maybe there would have been less death because there wouldn't have been such rash decisions, they say. Because women are more, relaxed, submissive, whatever the fuck any stereotype of women. Whatever, right? Think of one that you might know. All of that. It's just like, no, it's not like a biological thing. Like, all the time, right? Sometimes it is, there are biological traits that maybe sort of do pertain to the gender. But a lot of it is just social, circumstance. For most of human history, women have just been told to be submissive. They're just told to cater to their husband and care and just take care of the kids. Don't gotta worry too much about going out there on that power line. Stay your submissive ass home while I go out there and I'm being a man. But when I get home for doing all this hard work, you better be there so I can clap some cheeks. And you better be taking care of my kids, and there better be a fucking dinner on that table, woman. Okay, there better be get in that kitchen. And that's how it was most of human history. And it's like, well, that's a lot of that. It's not necessarily biologically like a woman are just submissive, that type of thing. It's not necessarily like in them like that,
Infinite. But here are the 6 most common types. As we go through these projections, try to recognize any tendencies towards one of these forms of projection within yourself. Furthermore, watch out for how people will project their desires and fantasies onto you. The devilish romantic. The woman who is usually... Furthermore, watch out for how people will project their desires and fantasies onto you.
My God, gender projection types? I'm sorry, what? That's a thing?
Tendencies towards one of these forms of projection within yourself.
Projection?
Furthermore, watch out for how people will project their desires and fantasies onto you.
Desires and fantasies?
The devilish romantic.
That I see.
The woman who is usually drawn to a man who is older and successful and who can lavish her with attention and gifts. In order to attract his attention, she decides to seduce him. After time, however, she realizes that his masculine, powerful...
I know this so much. This has practically happened to me, except I'm not necessarily successful like that. Well, this has kind of happened to me.
decides to seduce him. After time, however, she realizes that his masculine, powerful, and romantic qualities fall short of what she imagined. The attention she gets is not sufficient or does not last long enough. She is powerless to change him, and he will not change, so he walks away from her. A woman in this scenario has become trapped by the attention paid to her by her father in early childhood. It becomes her lifelong goal to reclaim that attention and the power that came with it. To attract this attention that they desire, they have to constantly be flirtatious and charming. The elusive woman of perfection.
Why? Why is that a thing? I don't get why is that a thing?
Man who thinks he has found the perfect woman.
Any of this going for power? I don't get it. Why is it so important that we go for power? You're telling me to do that for power reasons? Well, there's more to it than that, I'm sure. Like feeling nice, feeling loved, feeling cared for, feeling important. But it's the same thing. Is power like importance? Why do you need? Why? Why is that a thing? What is the point of wanting to feel important? I don't get it.
Although he hasn't had many encounters with the woman in question, he can imagine all kinds of positive encounters with her in the future. Despite his best efforts,
Let's not to say that I don't want to feel important, by the way. Let me just clarify that. I'm not claiming to never want to feel important. I'm saying, why is that a thing within humans?
Will quickly become disenchanted. Her character is not what he thought it would be. She deceived him. He then proceeds to project his fantasies onto the next woman. Often men susceptible to this projection grew up without a supportive mother. A mother of this sort might...
I'm sorry, what?
Encounter the man who thinks he has found the perfect woman. Although he hasn't had many encounters with the woman in question, he can imagine all kinds of positive encounters with her in the future. Despite his best efforts,
Halo affecting the fuck out of a woman?
She deceived him. He then proceeds to project his fantasies onto the next woman. Often men susceptible to this projection grew up without a supportive mother. A mother of this sort might have expected her son to give her the attention and support that she was lacking from her husband. And due to this role reversal, the boy who becomes a man feels emptiness inside and a need to fill the attention that he didn't receive in childhood.
Fucking hell.
The lovable rebel. The woman who is attracted to men that have a disdain for authority. This man, unlike the devilish romantic, is usually young and unsuccessful. Moreover, he tends to be outside her usual circle of friends. Even though the relationship breaks apart, the fantasy remains intact. Women with this projection often have a distant and strict father who is strong and patriarchal. As a girl, she dreamed of being independent and assertive, but was restricted to following her father's orders and playing the role of the obedient daughter. The fallen woman. The man who is attracted to the opposite of what he used to be, good, obedient, and trustworthy. This type of man often had a strong mother figure as a child, and subconsciously they gravitate towards women who are imperfect, bad, or from different cultures and/or social classes. His goal is to rescue her, but over time he realizes she isn't what he had expected. These men have a passive and masochistic anima, and they are often merely used as pawns by these women. The superior man. The woman. These men have a passive and masochistic anima,
Masochistic. I forgot what that means. Deriving sexual gratification from one's own... What? Sexual gratification from one's own pain? Oh, BDSM. BDSM. Okay, I get it. So he likes to be spanked. Okay, yeah, I get it.
Isn't what he had expected.
Well, what does he expect?
These men have a passive and masochistic
that he can save her and he's figured out she's unsavable?
And they are often merely used as pawns by these women.
40?
The superior man.
I haven't been talking that
The woman who is drawn to the superior man. His confidence and power radiate through him. He could be a successful businessman or a professor. Among women, this type of projection is very common and is due to feelings of his confidence and the superior man.
The superior?
Through him. He could be a successful businessman or a professor. Among women, this type of projection is very common and is due to feelings of inferiority. Being unable to develop her own confidence or strength, she tends to search for these traits in men and exaggerate their appearance in her imagination. She often attracts men who are attracted to younger women, whom they can dominate. The professor seducing the student scenario. Typically, these men fail to be as clever or as brilliant as she imagined, so the woman either leaves disappointed or gets stuck with her low self-esteem and bends to his manipulations. She should cultivate genuine self-confidence so that she can evaluate the value and character of the men she meets before being misguided. The woman to worship him. The man who seeks a woman who will worship him. His life is hard, but he is driven and ambitious. His life seems to be lacking something. A woman comes along who is warm, attentive, and engaging to him. When he pursues certain types of women...
Look at her build. I like her build. Look at it. Yes, sir.
He subtly positions them to play the mother role so they can support, adore, and enhance his ego.
Mother?
Generally, this male projection stems from his relationship with his mother, who adored him and lavished him with attention. She has empowered the boy, and he becomes addicted to that kind of attention. He seeks and expects that same attention from the women he meets. This man should see the patterns of these relationships throughout his life. He must be able to take care of himself.
That's right.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys could relate to any of these projection types.
I have to go back and see them again. I don't even... Can I relate to one of those? Me, personally, that I put out? Shit. If you could, that takes a lot of honesty. That takes a lot of self-reflection. Thinking that I found the perfect woman. I have a mom. My mom is here. I'm fine with mom. I love my mom. I'm fine. Can't think of it right
The
now.
original man or woman. When we were children, our sense of self was rather fluid. During our youth, however, we needed to establish a social self, one that was cohesive and would allow us to fit in. To achieve this, our free spirit had to be trimmed and tightened. And this tightening was largely driven by gender roles. To feel and present a more consistent self, we had to suppress our masculine or feminine qualities. If you're interested in finding a better balance, pause the video now and see how masculine and feminine traits tend to differ from each other. Pause the video.
Okay. The masculine mind, in terms of styles of thinking, prone to categorizing and separating one object from another. It seeks contrasts. Wait, is categorizing and separating? Yeah, we turn to categorize, and then they do it like a web, some shit like that, I think. Yeah, they do it more like a web. I've heard this. Categorizing and separating one object from another. It seeks contrast and break things apart like a machine to see how each part interrelates with the whole. You're speaking very broad there. That's hurting my head. Thinks in terms of the whole, the connections between the parts, the overall picture. When it evaluates a group of people, it's looking for connections in the relationship among them. Which one are... Oh, that's hard. That's hard to say. I want to say feminine in me. Dude, I can't even tell you that. That's very complex styles of thinking. I would have thought feminine. I'm not going to hold you. I'm pushing towards there, but I kind of don't get exactly, because it's very broad. We're talking very broad thing right here. Styles of action. Attack the prop. Well, it's not just going to be black and white like this. There's a whole spectrum of shit, but men attack the problem directly, try to push through obstacles if they are in its way, taking risks and staying on the offensive are what it enjoys. I do that. I tend to do that. Removing oneself from the immediate situation and considering the options more deeply before acting. Typically, it will seek to avoid conflict, smooth the relation, and win without taking part in the conflict. No, I'm masculine on styles of action. I feel. I tend to, mostly. Tends to blame external factors when things go wrong and tries to troubleshoot problems itself. I troubleshoot problems myself, but I already read that one. Tends to be critical of oneself first and seeks help more frequently. I don't necessarily seek. Well, it depends on what you mean by that. Like, not from other people, but like maybe, I don't know, does reading books count? Like, I go and maybe I've read a self-help book or 2 or 3 or 4, but is that necessarily seeking help? Because I tend to be more critical of myself, so I'm more feminine on self-assessment, I'd say. But I feel like I try to troubleshoot the problem myself mostly, because I don't tell other people about my problems. I really don't. Especially not going deep into it. Maybe I'll mention, maybe this happened. Maybe I am feeling a little bummed out, but I don't go any further than that. I'll be like, maybe today wasn't the best day, but it's fine. We're still cool. We're still alive. I always tell people I have gratitude. Don't even worry about it, okay? It doesn't have to go further than that. Typically focuses on hierarchy and correcting those who break it. Styles of relating. Typically more open-minded, empathetic, and cohesion-oriented feminine. So I go more feminine here. I'm half and half for styles of self-assessment. I'm masculine for action. And I kind of want to say feminine for styles of thinking. I don't get that one at all. I can't even give you that one. I don't know. I can't give you that one. All I know is male on style of action, half and half on style of self-assessment, and more feminine in leadership. I'll tell you that, right?
Video now and see how masculine and feminine traits tend to differ from each other. Do not play the expected gender role, but rather create one that suits you. Law 13.
He's the law only of one to say that. That's why I love Robert. He's the only one to say that.
Advance with a sense of purpose. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how.
That's so true.
Friedrich Nietzsche. As opposed to animals who can use their instincts to steer clear of danger, humans must rely on their own judgments. As long as we follow our instincts moment by moment, we will wander aimlessly, which will lead us to dead ends. Developing a sense of purpose, discovering our calling in life, and using that knowledge to guide us.
It's just in Western culture, because the Buddhists and the Chinese love purposelessness. And what's up with that? Why do they love purposelessness? They seem to think that that's great. It's beautiful. I mean, nature and life, in a sense, is purposeless to them. I don't know how true that necessarily is, but it does appear to be that way. But is it psychologically we're better off with purpose? Is that what he's saying?
In our decisions will prevent such a fate. We can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, our tastes, and our preferences. When we lack purpose, we become increasingly insecure. When we have a sense of purpose, we are less likely to suffer from depression. It is best to avoid hiring or working with people who are motivated by a false purpose, as their unproductive energy will tend to drag you down. If you surround yourself with people who have a strong purpose, they will pull you upward. Operating with a high sense of purpose is a force multiplier. The many sides of your character are channeled into this purpose, giving you more sustained energy. Strategies for developing a high sense of purpose.
Actually?
In developing a sense of purpose, you will encounter many challenges. Others may distract you from finding your true direction by instilling doubt in your heart. You can overcome these obstacles by using the following 5 strategies. Often the earliest signs of your true calling can be located in the earliest years of your life. Consider moments in your life when you felt natural and at ease doing so. In the earliest years of your Often the earliest signs of your true calling can be located in the earliest years of your life. Consider moments in your life when you felt natural and at ease doing certain tasks or activities, as if you were running with the wind at your back. When you pursue your purpose, some people will criticize you along the way. Some may be helpful, but others may just come from envy. Take their negative opinions and judgments of you as motivation and fuel for your purpose. Associating with people who have a strong sense of purpose will allow you to absorb their purposeful energy. Create a ladder of descending goals. If you set long-term goals, you will gain incredible clarity and resolve. However, if you look at all the steps necessary to reach them from your current position, they are likely to generate anxiety. If you want to manage such anxiety, you should have a ladder of smaller goals extending down from the present to the future. Finally, dedicate uninterrupted time with your work. Find states of flow and focus on the work and not the recognition or the reward.
Very good advice there. Very good fucking advice. Discover your calling in life. Use resistance and people's negatives emotions as fuel. Absorb purposeful energy. Create a ladder of descending goals. And lose yourself in the work with flow, which is actually a book in itself. Robert didn't write it, though. Very good book, though. It can lead to happiness. People are happier when they're in flow mode. Also, Ikigai. Right, that book about the world's longest living people, the super centenarians of that one island in Japan. Also, very good read. You guys should read it if you haven't.
And not the recognition or the reward. The lure of false purposes. We are all aware of how insignificant we are in the universe with billions of others. In order to feel connected to something bigger than ourselves, we need to feel larger than ourselves. As human nature is, however, many people are searching for meaning and a sense of transcendence on the cheapest and easiest terms possible. Throughout history, without a purpose, humans have been attracted to 5 common types of false purposes. The pursuit of pleasure. We often think of work as just a boring necessity of life. Ultimately, we are motivated by avoiding pain and finding as much pleasure as possible outside of work. Our pursuit of pleasure takes many different forms, such as sexual activities, recreational stimulants, and other forms of entertainment. By operating with a sense of purpose, we understand the importance of placing limits on ourselves, rather than overstimulation of the senses. Causes and cults. As human beings, we have a deep
Purpose is to have sex?
desire to believe in something, and with a lack of uniforms, as human stimulation of the senses. Causes and cults.
Religion. Christianity.
As human beings, we have a deep desire to believe in something, and with a lack of unifying beliefs, cults fill the void. Groups whose disciples are vague in their objectives should be viewed with caution, as their group is more than likely just about releasing emotions. Money and success. A person's pursuit of money and
That's not what he means by cults. He doesn't mean religion. Or, I don't know. I don't think he does.
success often motivates and focuses them. Despite this, many of the richest and most successful people were never initially driven by money. Money and success will naturally flow to you if you focus on your goals and maintain a high sense of purpose. Attention. As a way to feel more important, people have always desired fame and attention. The false sense of purpose, however, has been greatly democratized with the help of social media. By cultivating a strong sense of purpose and creating projects which are naturally appealing, we'll have a much better chance of attracting attention. Cynicism. Man would rather have the void as purpose than be void of purpose. Friedrich Nietzsche. Cynicism, the conviction that existence is meaningless, has the effect of leading to the void.
This is why nihilism does not work. I've been trying to say this for the past 7 episodes. That's the quote, man. That is so true. Men would rather have the void as purpose. That's exactly what the nihilists have. They're not saying that they're void of purpose. They're saying the void is their purpose. Like, it's that difference. That's where the nihilist fucks up, in my opinion, of course. And Simone de Beauvoir's opinion.
Then be void of purpose. Friedrich Nietzsche. Cynicism, the conviction that existence is meaningless, has the effect of leading to the void as purpose. Politics and old beliefs all contribute to this type of fake purpose, which is growing in popularity nowadays. Law 14. The law of conformity.
Oh my God.
Resist the downward pull of the group.
It's gonna piss me off.
When people are
As
free to...
somebody who would like to say that I've never really tried to conform that hard. I'm not gonna hold you. I mean, especially as recently. Like, more recent in my years, definitely. But even, like, before that, I didn't really give a fuck. Why do people try to conform so much? I don't...
do as they please, they usually imitate each other. Eric Hoffer. The social personality is the different person that we become when we are operating in groups of people. It is a side to our character that we are rarely even aware of. In a group, we unconsciously imitate what others say and do. There is no positive or negative side to the social force. It is simply an aspect of our human nature. The individual effect.
There's a positive
the desire to fit
staying
in.
in the group.
In order to feel like we belong or fit in with a group, we tend to alter our appearance or adopt its ideas, beliefs, and values. The need to perform. We become actors in beliefs and values. The need to perform. We become actors in the group, guiding what we say and do so that the other team members accept us as loyal members of the team. Emotional...
Religion. Republicans. Democrats. Other stuff.
Contagion. We
My
experience
chair
the
stopped creaking.
contagiousness
My God, I need to get a new chair. I'm losing it. Stop creaking. I'm not even moving that much.
of emotions through the group. The group may compel you to act in ways that you would otherwise not if you were alone.
Republicans.
For certainty. In the group, we are driven to make urgent decisions and support them. This gives us a sense of certainty that makes us more open to make urgent if you were alone. Hyper-certainty. In the group, we are driven to make urgent decisions and support them. This gives us a sense of certainty that makes us more open to taking risks. You should never give up your ability to doubt, reflect, or consider the other options that differ from the group. The larger the group and the more established the culture over time, the more likely it will control you than the other way around. Group dynamics. You must study the following dynamics in the groups in which you belong. Group culture. Groups carry some dynamic of culture, from countries with long-standing traditions all the way down to a company or even an office. An ideal state will always be the center of the group's culture and spirit. Group rules and codes. The distressing effect of disorder and anarchy are experienced by all groups. Therefore, standard rules and how to conduct oneself quickly emerge and are established. They are not written down, but they are implied by all group members. The group court. In
Kevin!
chimpanzee colony, you will observe an alpha male and other chimpanzees adapting their behavior with him, following, imitating, and trying to strengthen their bonds with the alpha. Essentially, this is the pre-human version of the court, or the social dynamic. Despite the difference in appearance, the behavior and strategies of the courtiers continues to be very similar. The group enemy. In the groups you belong to, you will almost certainly find some sort of enemy or villain to fight.
Republicans. Democrats. Atheist. Theist.
Be it human
Bro, this is every group ever. Like, I can't cough that much. Like, it's every group ever. Like,
or otherwise. Group factions. As a group becomes large enough, individuals start to form factions. A faction, left unchecked, can grow so powerful it takes control of the leaders. By creating an enthusiastic and unifying environment in the group, factions become less desirable, which tightens the whole group. The court and the courtiers. In any group dynamic, there will be a struggle for power. There will be some form of group court, with an alpha leader at the top and subordinate leaders with whom people try to get close to. Understanding the court's dynamics is crucial. Be able to identify the types of courtiers, such as the intriguer, who appears loyal to the group, but is secretly accumulating their own power. The stirrer, who hides their envy.
I watched the podcast from Joe Rogan. Posted it like a couple weeks ago, I think. Maybe it was just a few days ago. Maybe it wasn't that long. I think it was like a week or two ago, I think. Where he invited Ryan Holiday. He had Ryan Holiday over, and he was talking. He was talking about how he was at this job, right? This job that he really didn't like. He was very young in LA, starting out. He was working this shitty job. I don't know. He was like an assistant. No, he was like he was working some fucking job. I don't know. He was maybe. Well, he wasn't front. No. He was working his fucking job in an office somewhere, right? And then somebody saw him that he had the 48 Laws of Power book sitting on his desk. And because of that, somebody else that was like higher up, one of his coworkers, like or somebody working at the company saw that. And they sort of, just because they saw that and maybe they knew what the book was about, maybe they read it themselves, I don't know. They sort of got suspicious of him. They felt like he was somebody to be suspicious of, or capable of doing something suspicious, right? Like they were just like a little, they were a little shooken up by it, right? They're like, this guy reading the 48 Laws of Power, like, and then Joe Rogan was like, why? Because you're ambitious. Like, is that so bad? And he was like, yeah, the dude was fucking, he was suspicious of me. Just because I had the 48 Laws of Power book. that was really funny to me. That was really intriguing. And that's the intriguer. The intriguer, right? Intriguer. The fuck? How do you say that? The intriguer? The what?
But is secretly courtiers, such as the intriguer, who appears loyal to the group, but is secretly accumulating their own power. The stirrer,
that must have been who he thought Ryan Holiday was.
Is their envy to cause conflict within the group, or the gatekeeper, who uses their position to control the flow of information and isolate the leader. The reality
he didn't get
the flow of information, or the gatekeeper, who hides their envy to cause conflict within the group, or the gatekeeper, who uses their position to control the flow of information and isolate the leader.
Okay.
The reality group.
So all the courtiers just shitty?
Here are 5 strategies if you want to create a healthy group dynamic. Instill a collective sense of purpose. You must capture and channel that social force that compels people to belong and fit in. This can't be a vague purpose, it must be clearly stated and publicized. Assemble the right team of lieutenants. Your fear of delegating authority will be your biggest obstacle. Developing a team of lieutenants with the skills that you lack must be the very first thing that you do. Let information and ideas flow freely. Communication is the lifeblood of any group. Encourage open discussion to build the members' trust. Infect the group with productive emotions. You should radiate a sense of determination that permeates the group. In the face of setbacks, you are the one that keeps pressing forward and solving problems. Forge a battle-tested group. When faced with a crisis, you want to find out how tough a person is from the inside. Test the people in your team with some relatively challenging tasks and shorter deadlines than usual, and see how they respond under pressure.
Damn. Law 15.
Law 15. The law of fickleness. Make them want to follow you.
Oh, okay.
In the world today, we humans have become more self-absorbed, more tribal, and tenacious in holding on to our narrow agendas. We have become consumed by the barrage of information inundating us. We are even more fickle when it comes to leaders.
Why is that the thing? People always thought that with the coming of the internet, that motherfuckers is just gonna be, oh my god, look at this new amount of information that you're gonna have access to. Wow, people are gonna become smarter. Maybe they'll become more critical thinkers. They'll question their own biases and they'll have ability to make more informed decisions. The complete fucking opposite happened. They just made echo chambers. That's all that it was. It's just your whole the algorithms are just showing you shit that you already agree with, that is not going to challenge your worldview, and it's going to keep telling you that what you believe is right and that you've got it all figured out. No need to question anything more. You've got it figured out, Tommy. Yes, sir. You know how the world works. Those Democrats, those filthy Democrats or Republicans, whichever side you're on, those filthy Republicans over there, my God, the scum of the earth. This is why America ain't great. This is why all your problems exist. This is why any sort of thing that is making you unhappy, that's why it exists. Because of those libtards. That's why. Those libtards over there. Make America great again. And I'm going to follow my lead. I'm going to believe in that leader type. Law of human nature. That leader who says that he can solve it all. That he can make everything better. Right.
Despite the fact that leadership styles change with the times, one thing remains the same. People are always ambivalent about those in power. Watch the news to see how easily leaders can lose trust from their followers, and how their reputation is shaped by their latest success or failure.
Bro, what did that man Biden said? He said one word to describe our beautiful nation. And then he's just like had a brain aneurysm, and then he couldn't finish it, and it was like, oh my God. He said, it was like, my man's Sleepy Joe.
Strategies for establishing authority. Authority is the delicate art of creating the appearance of power, legitimacy, and fairness, while getting people
fair though, he is pretty old.
To identify with you as a leader who is in their.
I'm sorry, I need to see this. Establish authority?
Strategies for establishing authority. Authority is the delicate art of creating the appearance of power, legitimacy, and fairness, while getting people to identify with you as a leader who is in their service. Having authority means people follow you willingly. They listen to your advice and follow your words. In your efforts to overcome people's natural ambivalence and resistance, you must continuously seek ways to mobilize their willpower. These strategies aim to accomplish just that. Put all of them to use.
Okay. Copy
Authenticity. Find your authority style. The authority you create must flow naturally from your character and specific strengths. Think of certain archetypes of authority from our culture. One of the archetypes will best suit you.
Picasso?
The deliverer. The person who delivers people from evil. Think Moses or Martin Luther King Jr. The founder. They establish a new order in business or politics that diverges from the status quo.
Oh, me.
The visionary.
Me. That's me, baby. The founder.
The artist. They defy the norms. Think Picasso. The healer, the one who can unify people.
Mother Teresa?
The teacher, the person who can initiate action and get people to.
The one that can unify people.
The teacher, the person who can initiate, unify people.
Why is he called the healer then? Why not the unifier?
The teacher, the person who can initiate action and get people to learn from their mistakes. Focus outwardly, the attitude. Humans are selfish by nature, spending most of our time focusing on our emotions, our struggles, and our fantasies. Spending most of our time focusing on our emotions, our struggles, and our fantasies. Focus on how you can serve others, become a good listener, and see your position of leadership as a responsibility and not a privilege. The vision. Cultivate the third eye. Individuals caught up in the moment are prone to overreact, panic, and see only a limited part of the situation in front of them. Develop your long-term vision and don't get caught up in the day-to-day drama or small, insignificant events. The tone. Lead from the front. As a leader, you must show everyone you work as hard, if not harder, than they do. Setting the right tone is essential. To gain your approval, the members will want to rise up to your level. Stir conflicting emotions, the aura. People tend to be too predictable. In order to fit in and feel like part of the group, they adopt a persona that they think is pleasing and consistent with the group. As a leader, it is important to establish an aura of mystery. Mixing signals and displaying qualities that seem inconsistent causes people to think about you and pause before they try to categorize you. Never appear to take, always to give. The act of taking something away from someone they assume they own, be it time, rights, or money, can create a sense of insecurity and will call into question your authority. Always be seen to give and never take from the group. Rejuvenate your authority, adaptability. The newer generations will inevitably become immune to your charm and aura. Therefore, your style of leadership needs to adapt to the moods and epochs of the time. Don't let your leadership style remain stuck in its ways.
Nice little pause.
Law 16. The law of aggression. See the hostility behind the friendly facade. Men are not gentle, friendly creatures wishing for love, who simply defend themselves. Hostility behind the friendly facade.
Ooh, the law of aggression.
Men are not gentle, friendly creatures wishing for love, who simply defend themselves if attacked. A powerful desire for aggression has to be reckoned was part of their...
Didn't we see the law of aggression in the last video? I swear we did. I swear we went over aggression in the last one. I promise you we did. There's no way, right? I remember seeing something about aggression in one of these type of videos. I swear.
Endowment. Sigmund Freud. On the surface, people around you appear polite and civil, but underneath the mask, we all have an aggressive side in our DNA. People have acted violently and aggressively in the past and present, but we dislike to think of ourselves as someone who can act in that same manner. Human nature is deeply misunderstood in this way. Our species is wired for aggression, and it is latent in every human. Aggression can be used for good, however, it can also lead to antisocial behavior and violence. Despite some individuals clearly being more aggressive than others, we are all capable of slipping towards the negative side of aggression. Human aggression is a continuum, and we all exist somewhere on the spectrum.
That's true.
The source of human aggression.
Okay, let's see it. What's the source?
Human aggression stems from an underlying insecurity as opposed to simply an impulse to hurt or take from others.
That is a very important thing. Just think about that. If that is true, any aggressive person you've ever met, underlying insecurity. Underlying insecurity. That's it. There you go. That person is insecure. Ain't that something? Ain't that quite something? I know a lot of aggressive people. Sound like my dad.
Humans are able to grasp their own mortality. At any moment, we could lose our jobs or be separated for our partners, which can make us feel frustrated and helpless. People who are chronically aggressive, on the other hand, are more likely to feel the helplessness and frustration we might feel on occasion. These individuals experience chronic insecurity and fragility and work incredibly hard to hide this by overpowering and controlling others. If you are around a chronic aggressor, you must understand this behavior is stemming from an underlying insecurity, a deep wound, which almost always comes from early childhood. We also have to realize that aggressors see others as objects to control. 2 myths to dispel. The first myth says that humans used to live in harmony with nature and with each other. But anthropologists have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that pre-civilization warfare was every bit as murderous and brutal as anything we are experiencing today. There was little peace between us. The second myth claims that human beings may have by and large been violent and aggressive in the past, but we have evolved since then to become more compassionate, enlightened, and led by our better angels. Still, the signs of human aggression persist as they did in the past.
Robert Greene uses the words better angels within this section of the book. Seems to be taking a subtle jab at another famous author's worldview on human nature. Can you guess who? Damn, no. Who says human nature is to be kind? The Dalai Lama? Who?
Present-day warfare.
let me know. Competition on YouTube, even the summary on Blinkist was not enough. Yeah, I've had Blinkist. Sorry. Can't find it. Nobody got it in the top part.
Fair genocide and degradation of the environment paint a different picture from this myth.
Sorry?
Passionate, enlightened, and led by our better angels. Still, the signs of human aggression persist as they did in the past. Present-day warfare, genocide, and degradation of the environment paint a different picture from this myth.
Ooh, that's true. What naturally
Redirect your aggressive energy.
What naturally
There are
follows from
usually three
enlightenment
main
thinking.
ways.
What naturally follows from enlightenment thinking, but doesn't always have to follow, is that if you think in enlightenment ways and seeing how you can use nature to your advantage, right? Like, oh, we're studying nature to see how we can use it to our advantage. Guess what naturally follows? You're going to say, oh, this new scientific theory would seem to suggest that just the way it is that we're just superior. Sorry, it's just the way the world is. It's just the way nature is. We're just superior. And therefore, we want to see how we can use that knowledge to the best of our abilities. To the great, detriment of human. Let's see how we can use this to our advantage. How we can use this and make nature work for us. How about we make the most advanced civilization ever? How about we make a civilization? How about we make a country, a nation, whatever you want to call it, of just the greatest human beings. And let's get rid of any weak links. Let's use CRISPR to make sure that no autistic people come out, to make sure that no Down syndrome kids come out, to make sure that no kids with some weird deformity might come out. Let's make sure. Because we can use nature to our advantage. We can use the science to our advantage. Let's see what we do. Because you're not really worried about ethicalness, are you? You're not really worried about morality, are you? What can naturally follow is a Hitler from Enlightenment style thinking. That's where a lot of it can end. It can. It tends to go that way.
Painted. Redirect your aggressive energy. There are usually three main ways in which aggressive energy is expended. 1, you can channel this energy into your work, controlled aggression. 2, you can channel it towards others through your behavior, passive aggression. Or 3, it can be turned inward in the form of self-loathing, which directs our anger and aggression at our own shortcomings. How do you usually handle this energy? Observe how you respond to frustration and uncertainty as a way to judge yourself. Are you prone to lash out, become angry, and do things that you later regret? Or do you internalize the anger and grow depressed? Passive aggression, its strategies and how to counter them. Our default setting is to avoid direct confrontations and appear sociable and polite. However, it is not always possible to get what we want without making an effort to assert ourselves. This is called passive aggression. While passive aggression is sometimes necessary in order to not be walked over by others, some people have a chronic passive aggression problem. Here are some strategies that passive aggressors often use. The subtle superiority strategy. The person who always comes late provides an excuse and an insincere apology. The sympathy strategy. The person who plays the victim, but in reality loves the drama, the pain, and the attention. The insinuating doubt strategy. Someone, maybe even a friend, who makes an offhand remark that makes you question yourself and your the drama, the pain. The person who plays the victim, but in reality loves the drama, the pain, and the attention. The insinuating doubt strategy. Someone, maybe even a friend, who makes an offhand remark that makes you question yourself and your abilities. You did quite well on the project for someone at your level. Was he or she subtly insulting me, you may be asking yourself? A key point of this strategy is to make you feel bad such that you find yourself thinking about it for days afterward. Their goal is to bring down your self-esteem. The most common reason for their actions is envy. It is best to show that their insinuations have no impact on you. Their goal is to get a reaction from you, and you will not give it to them. The blame shifter strategy. The person who is confronted and immediately begins shifting responsibility and blame back to the person who is irritated. They grow silent when you confront them, wearing a hurt or disappointed look, while their tone of voice subtly conveys a sense of disbelief that they did anything wrong. It leaves you feeling as if you may have overreacted, and now you feel guilty. The intention is to cover up the unpleasant behavior, deflect criticism, and make people refrain.
I think I know somebody that's the sympathy. I think I know somebody. I think I know. You know who you are.
From calling them out on their mistakes in the future. This tactic can be countered if you remain objective and unaffected by their blame shifting. The passive tyrant strategy.
Passive tyrant?
The person who is impossible to please. Usually powerful people use this strategy towards their underlings, but it can be applied by individuals in relationships as well. Strategizing against these types is very difficult because they are usually your superiors and possess real power over you. There's really only one counter: quitting and recovering. Controlled aggression. Your aggression should not be repressed or turned inward. Channel this energy towards real problems that you can solve and towards your ambitions to get what you want.
So you should have controlled aggression.
Law
Good.
17.
Good.
The law of generational myopia. Seize the historical moment. You are a product of the times as much as anyone.
Yep.
The generation you were born into has shaped your thoughts and values, whether you're aware of this or not.
That's very true. We all know this.
In more ways than you can imagine.
Why do I say we all know this? Like, well, motherfuckers, maybe some motherfuckers don't know it. Maybe. But it's like, this
born into a generation that defines your identity. There is a strong desire in your generation to separate itself from the previous generation and forge a new direction in the world. New values are formed, which are absorbed into your thinking as an individual. With age, generational ideas and values tend to close you off to other points of view, limiting your thinking. In order to free yourself from
Gangnam Style?
to other with age, generational ideas and values tend to close you off to other points of view, limiting your thinking. In order to free yourself from the mental restriction placed on you by your generation, you must understand as deeply as possible this powerful influence on who you are. The generational phenomenon. Each generation has its own symbols, myths, beliefs, and mindsets, which constitute its generational spirit. A person born in the 1890s would be a different person from someone born in the 1950s. And a person born in the 1950s would have a different generational spirit from a person born in the 1990s. Generational patterns. Each generation inherits beliefs and ideas from their parents, but seeks to find something new. The 14th century historian
I don't. Just saying.
Ibn Khaldun believed that history occurs in cycles over 4 generations. The first generation. Revolutionaries make a radical break to establish new values. The second generation seeks to establish some order and discipline after the revolutionary chaos. The third generation aims to build a comfortable life through pragmatic means. And the fourth generation are cynical and lost in a society that has stagnated. New revolutionaries are now primed to usher in the new order, and the cycle begins again. You need to change the way you look at your own generation. You should attempt to understand how deeply the spirit and the culture of your generation have affected the way you view the world.
Oh, no, that's very true. It's not just generational. It's all of facticity, right? The time involves generation. But also like who your parents are, you know, how they treated you. It's also like your experiences, your friends, who you're around, where you are, where you live. All of it. A lot of your situation, right? Situation is the best word I can use there. All of your situation really shapes who you are as an information processing system. A lot of what you believe, go on to believe. I mean, that belief has to have come from somewhere, from some sort of intake and information. that you then process that and we're like, this I like this resonates with me, seems to be true, I'm gonna believe this, or this I was told to believe this by whatever. Maybe I see a lot of people doing this, I see everybody doing this, guess what, I'm gonna try to fit in because it's a law of nature. Or my parents have told me that this is what I should do, and I'm gonna listen to my parents, and I'm going to do what they tell me to do because they believe this, and I think that they know what they are talking about. I think that they are very wise people and that they have it figured out. Therefore, I'm going to keep believing this because my parents told me to, even if I question it. Which, like, no.
Identify the characteristics of your generation in order to gain an understanding of its spirit in the present and to exploit it. Think about where your generation fits within the tension between early and middle adulthood. We think we are judging the younger generation in an objective manner, but we are merely succumbing to the illusion of perspective. How you can capitalize on the spirit of the times. The following are some strategies to make the most of generational dynamics. Challenge your past, including your parents' values, and try to see things from a different perspective. Take on the generational zeitgeist in a unique way. Don't let your age limit your curiosity. You can be a childlike wanderer as a grown-up. Increase your interactions with the younger generation. Read the works of previous generations. Influence the younger generation, mostly your children, to shape the future.
That's all me,
Law
baby.
18. The law of death denial. Meditate on our common mortality. By connecting to the reality of death, we connect more profoundly to the reality and fullness of life.
Going out on a good note or a bad one?
Near-death experiences actually have a paradoxical effect that makes us feel more alive and awake. You can make your life more meaningful and productive by being aware of your mortality. Become viscerally aware of death. Take a moment to reflect on death. Visualize yourself at the moment you die, and try to picture what you are doing or where you might be at that time. Remember that your remaining years on this planet are a deadline for completing some
situation or where we'd like to be. Just because a lot of motherfuckers are not going to want to do that. I'm willing. A lot of motherfuckers aren't willing to do that. Okay.
sort of life project. While you still have time, work on what matters most to you, including your relationships and your goals. Observe mortality. Consider the billions of people who have come before you, and realize that most of the people on Earth now will no longer be alive in the next 60 years. We are all...
Oh, depends. I mean, we're kind of living longer, aren't we? Alive right now. Oh, what if they were born yesterday? They're going to be here 60 years. A lot of them. Not all of them, but...
part of the brotherhood and sisterhood of death.
Well, actually. Russia. Heat wave. Asteroid. Yeah. Yeah, this 18th law applies.
Embracing death will make it easier to cope with all other pain and hardships in your life. Adversity is an opportunity to grow and enlighten yourself. Take time to contemplate the sublime. The infinity of time and space makes our daily struggles seem trivial. Faced with the vastness of nature, our ego seems insignificant. Being aware of your mortality will free you of any insignificant worries. It will allow you to concentrate solely on your life's work and will help you to explore every possibility to the fullest.
Beautiful. Beautiful. The daily... No, not the daily laws. This is the wrong book. I'm thinking about the wrong book, homie. The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Second detailed summary on the channel. Hour and a half. Practically a feature film movie's length. Right? A whole feature film. My God, am I going to have to probably watch this with Michaela Peterson? Probably will. I probably will. But let me leave it a like right here. Escaping Ordinary. Amazing video. Love the work that you're doing, man. I've seen your bio. I see that you're still working. You still have a full-time job, I believe he has. So that's why he doesn't post that much. He's been very busy, I'm sure. I'm sure he's probably working. He's probably doing finishing touches on the new video right now because he hasn't posted in a minute. 9 months. Before that, this one, the second laws, he had the second laws, yeah. He had posted that 2 months before this, and all of these I don't know the exact time in between, but he does take a little while to make these. But that's all right. That's all right because he's providing he's providing great knowledge. Okay, this is good content here. This is valuable content. And I'm sure that when he can start really popping off and really make money off of this, like you can imagine this man doing this full time. I need this man doing this full time because I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna watch all of them. I don't care. I'm gonna react too, even if these aren't necessarily the most reactable videos. I do it because you can watch it with me, and then have it be as long as a feature film for whatever reason you might want that to be, as if the video wasn't long enough. But you know what? It doesn't. Don't worry about it. Let's not worry about that. Oh, man. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want me to react to next. Let me know. Talk too much? Probably. I made the video twice as long. Fuck. My God. What did I talk? It doesn't feel... Like, when I talk, time flies. How could I have made the video twice as long? I didn't talk as much as he did. I swear to God, I didn't. I don't feel that. I don't feel like I talk that much. I gotta end it here, man. Let me know what you guys want me to react to next, man. Let me know what you guys thought. Tell me that I talked too much. Tell me that I bored you. If you made it to the end, you're a fucking legend. You gotta comment. You gotta comment. I will do something. You gotta let me know. Cause my God, an hour and 30 sitting here with me. Love you, man. Love you, whoever you are out there. Appreciate you. You're crazy enough to do that? My God, especially younger folk. That's me, homie. Come on, doc. You know me. I don't just like to mindlessly scroll through TikTok, but I tend to like a little stimulation here and there. I possibly have ADHD because I read ADHD 2.0, and it seems like there's a hefty criteria that you gotta meet. But it seems to me like I got it, right? Especially with the whole attention deficit thing. It seems to me I got it. It seems to me I have that, right? So, you know me, I like that stimulation. I do tend to get distracted and wander off a lot. A lot of the times I'm on that default mode. I'm not always in the focus mode. And you do maybe find me occasionally scrolling through that. But at least most of my shit on TikTok now is motivational shit, maybe educational shit. Most of my shit is just good stuff. But it still kind of just be mindlessly scrolling. It's just less shittier content, I guess. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace. My God, I gotta scroll all the way to this screen. My God.